It's a really simple trick to save you lots of time when you're pulling back lots of data from a data source in Power Automate without using any other actions other than the trigger or the action that retrieves the data. Here's how. We've got this list here. This list has 1040 records. It's called test order data. I've got a simple flow set up here which just runs on a recurrence trigger to go and get all those order lines from that list that you just saw there. Nothing else set up, and it counts the number of orders. This is simply the length of the array that contains those order lines, all of the values from this action. Let's test it. Runs nice and quick. What it does is it goes through the order lines, but it's getting 100 orders, 100 of the rows. But what if you need all of the rows, or you certainly need to scan all of the rows? What's happened there is Power Automate has automatically protected you from pulling too much data back because it knows that if it does, it's going to get slow. Right now, 302 milliseconds. Let's force Power Automate to get all that data back for us. We go into the action and change the settings, and we use this setting here, pagination. It's going to tell me there's a warning there because it wants me to set a maximum threshold. Let's set it at 2000 because I know that I've got under 2000 records. Let's just save that and test it once again. Notice now we've got a delay as the processing of all those records into Power Automate takes place. Bearing in mind there's 1000 rows that it's going to pull into Power Automate for me to process. So it's reporting back 15 seconds to bring back 1040 rows. But what if I've got so much more data? I know that my flow is going to take forever, and also I know that subsequent actions are going to cause long time delays. For example, if I'm looping through each record to have a look at something. How can I deal with that, and how can I filter my data before Power Automate gets hold of it? Luckily, within many of the actions that go and retrieve data, we have some options we can play with. If we click Advanced Parameters in this new canvas, you can find the same in the classic canvas, just a different click. Look where it says OData. That's a technique we can use. It's an industry standard, not specific to Microsoft, where we can set up a query to be run when Power Automate goes and asks SharePoint via HTTP for the data that it needs. There's lots of options we can use here, but I'm going to show you a couple. First up, in my SharePoint list, this order date under the hood, this is called Field 1. I'll do a video about why that is, but that's just because of how I created this particular list. So I can filter on Field 1, and the filter looks like this. Field 1 GT, which means greater than a particular date. Just be careful of your formatting with OData, but it's super simple to use when you get the hang of it. If I now save this, it's going to get all the order lines from all of those records with a date greater than the 28th of October. Remember last time when this ran, it took about 15 seconds to get through all the data and pull all the data back. You can see now 0.4 seconds, so a lot quicker. How many records have we got? We got 7, which probably correlates to the number of records here that are greater than that date. With OData, you can combine filters as well. So here I'm going to say field 1, which is the order date, is greater than that particular date, and field 3, which is a status field, I believe that will be this field here, order type, which is actually a choice field, is equal to online. So you'll notice one is greater than, one is equal to. You have different operators you can use for different kinds of fields. Let's just give that a test. There we go, 0.2. In this case, there were no records which matched, but we know with confidence that it searched through all of those records in my data. Using OData and combining different aspects of your query with multiple selections can really save time in your flows when you only retrieve the data you need from the source that you're looking at. Many of the actions in Power Automate where it's a get will have this option because it automatically knows that it doesn't want to process too much data. It's just a really good best practice to get into the hang of and experiment with. But also experiment with different field types. I'll paste into the comments some of the operators that you can use. The documentation does suggest that you won't be able to work very easily with choice fields like this one where you've got multi-select. But I'm just going to show you now that that also is possible. Let's change this filter query to be the date greater than 28th, and that new choice field is either green or red. There is an AND operator that you can use as well. You'll notice here blue or green. So this record should come back, and that record. Let's just give that a whirl. And there we go, super fast. And how many records did we get back? We actually got 4 records back. A quick check on the SharePoint site to see if that's right. Let's look at the full data set, and we said green or red. And there's 4 records. So it's found the right number of records even if it's a multi-select. So do experiment with OData. Find what works for you. Let me know in comments if this is a technique you use or whether you use a different technique. I'd love to hear. Do like and subscribe, and do let me know if there's any other topics you want me to do a video on, and I'll go and dig into it for you. Alright, take care for now.